what we're going to do is we're going to do something a little different here. Rather than a draft and rather than just like talk about random movies, we picked
10-ish.
Yeah.
About 7 dozen movies.
And we are going to rank them in a tier list. So I think we should start, let's start alphabetically. And we'll count number in this.
As good of enough place to start as any.
So let's start with the number. You recommended this movie for Thanksgiving, Four Brothers.
Oh, wow. I did not know that you're going to throw me out there like that. It is apparently a Thanksgiving film.
It is, and it's actually, like, of our list, it is shockingly more of a Thanksgiving
More than
movie.
Really?
most.
I know they get together because of Thanksgiving,
No,
but
they do not get
that
together.
wasn't the reason?
No, that wasn't the core
I
reason.
thought that was the reason that we were. Their mother died.
Yeah,
right.
their adoptive
Their
mother
adoptive mother.
Yeah.
was
we've got-
murdered.
Was murdered.
First of all, Dan, if you could, can we just ring out the cast? Because I think that's like really the most important.
Andre 3000.
Yeah, fucking
well,
Andre 3000. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Mark
Marky
Wahlberg.
Marky Mark. I forget his name.
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard. Yes.
Oh, he's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's almost in everything.
And watching that movie again too, like seeing Terrence Howard, I'm like, you got ripped off from being War Machine, man.
Yeah.
Just
There's
completely
1,000
gypped.
better black men to be Terrence Howard.
Well, also-
and yet Terrence Howard still does it. Like,
Holy shit. I hope he doesn't hear that.
I hope he does, because he knows it's true.
Terrence Howard absolutely got ripped off, but Terrence Howard also went full bore crazy.
Yeah,
Listen, it
that's
happens
fair
to the
enough.
best of us.
Yeah.
We'll all be there one day.
I mean, I know
He didn't go
I,
wealthy crazy like Chappelle.
well,
That's true.
I designed my own version of physics, and like no one listens to me.
I
need
also-
more money.
I do have to say, like this movie, I was like, all right, this really isn't a Thanksgiving movie. Then they have like the Thanksgiving dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
And then Marky Mark's like, screw it, let's
Yes.
go play hockey.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
What?
No.
Wait, what?
Now it's speaking to you, Dan, isn't it?
And if I may,
Might
like,
as well be
defend-
Clerks.
oh, fucking hell. If I may defend,
Yeah.
because I think that when you're talking about a Thanksgiving film,
Also,
I
Clerks
think
should
that-
be a Thanksgiving movie just because of that
I don't
scene.
know if that's true.
Just because of that scene.
Don't interrupt.
Yeah, it's not on the list for this episode.
I think
maybe
that-
next year.
It made mention of Thanksgiving because I think that if it's going to be a Thanksgiving movie, you have to at least make some sort of mention.
That's
We
fair.
had to make some
An
stretches of quantifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what I will say is that even though it was only mentioned for a portion of this film, and the rest of it is, like
It wasn't the
revenge,
setting.
murder, action film. The film was fundamentally about this concept of family
Yes.
coming
Yeah.
together, and I think that does tie in.
That's a slippery slope, because then we could be doing like Fast and Furious.
Well, no,
Yeah.
because if it took place during Thanksgiving, then I would say
It's
yes.
L.A. It's always the same time of year.
Moses,
Listen, you don't need Thanksgiving when you have family.
you can walk right into a joke right there because I eat my Thanksgiving dinner fast and furious.
furiously.
Yeah, that's fair. And then the trip. to
Well,
family.
we can't say that, Dan. We're going to get sued. That's the new one.
I think that movie. I think
They
that.
drive turkeys into cars and cars into turkeys.
Shut the fuck up.
All right,
man.
yeah, let him finish his point about the movie.
I'm so distracted right now because you guys know that my brother hit a turkey on the parkway. The other
Yes.
day.
Yeah.
Is
no.
that why?
Yeah. I hope.
That was a month
I
ago.
can't wait for him to hear this because this is like a whole thing. I asked him if he got the turkey. He was like, there was just feathers left.
Oh.
It's like it actually did serious damage to his truck.
I'm sure it
It's
did.
insane.
Turkeys
I
are
never
heavy.
did. Turkeys are big animals. Anyways, we digress. As much as I never really thought about it that way, and I was doing my Google research, as I'm sure we all did.
We did.
At the last
No,
minute.
absolutely.
I found that it basically falls into the category because you did have the all important dinner where the entire storyline of the movie is set. So they set this theme, and then the rest of the movie is about the importance of these people being family.
I'm not going to argue that. What we're going to try and figure out, though, is on the tier of it. First of all, I think we should take into account how good the movie is.
That is a pretty good movie.
But I
Like,
think it's secondary to how much of a Thanksgiving movie
Well, I think
is
it's
it?
got a 99 out of 100.
99
on
out of
Rotten
100?
Tomatoes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we could all agree that Four Brothers as a movie, pretty good movie.
I
I
described
enjoyed
it
it.
I
very
enjoyed
well.
it.
That
I
was a
did
pretty good
enjoy it.
movie.
I thought that was a good movie.
I've seen it ranked above
whether
The
it's
Godfather.
well, I also don't like Godfather, but like, I could see that actually.
So
But it's not thanks.
it's
Like it's tentative
it's
Thanksgiving.
tentative.
Yeah.
So
All right, let's.
what I would say, what I would grade it as a Thanksgiving movie, I would give it a B. Good movie, independent of the Thanksgiving aspect, but it's not that big of a Thanksgiving.
I
right,
give
so-
it a solid B.
So let me ask
Hold on, I
though,
gotta
a
write this
question.
down, too.
In terms of your grading, are you grading the movie or as a Thanksgiving movie?
I
you're
am
grading
taking
it?
both into account, but if it's not that much of a Thanksgiving movie,
Yeah.
then it's going to be punished slightly.
All right.
This is for
as a
Thanksgiving or just movie overall?
I would just
I just
say
asked-
as a Thanksgiving movie, because we have some classics
Okay.
on this list
Okay.
that might not fare very well because they don't have a lot to do with the holiday
All
itself.
right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a C.
You're going to give it a C.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Because like it is a good movie, but it's hard. But like the lining for what it needs to be a Thanksgiving movie is very thin.
Yeah. I'm somewhere between those two. What I want to add to this though is that I do want to, before I give a final answer on this, Regis, I would like to see some of the other films because obviously we're ranking them.
Well,
so I don't want to give it like a B and then be like, oh man, all these other movies are dog shit, and then I want to bump it up. To
Well,
nine.
what we can do is we can go back and
can go back,
reevaluate what we picked and where we had
Pick
them.
something
It's-
now, and
so-
that's not
yeah.
that's not your lock-in vote.
I'm going to split the difference and call it like a B minus. I'm just going to go right in the middle because it's like the movie is fine. I'm like
It
you
is a
guys
good
are-
movie.
You're yeah. You know what? I wasn't comfortable sharing that tonight with everybody, and I don't even think my mother knows that I enjoy watching that film sometimes.
Well, we won't tell her.
Yeah, she'll never
hope
know.
She might listen to this.
She doesn't.
All right, so
but
for
I think
now,
Four Brothers is okay. It's not
for now, I have Four Brothers in the B tier.
I have it as a B. I'm myself leaning a little on the lower end,
Yeah.
but I
Yeah.
think it's fair to have it as a B right now.
I think a B. Yeah, I was the lowest grade on that, and he gave a B minus, so B.
Yeah,
and
I
you
think
two are
that's
B.
solid,
So
yeah.
it's a solid.
see where
B.
we end up.
And also, we know that there's not a shit ton of fucking Thanksgiving movies.
Oh,
so
we
let's
have
take
9
what
of
we
them.
got.
We have 9 of them.
And we
It's
didn't
7
pick-
dozen, sir.
And we only picked a few out of that pile. Too.
Oh,
Out of
yeah.
that few pile, we only picked a few. So the next one on the list, Adam's Family Values.
Yes.
So,
I got feelings about this.
all right. So it is the sequel to Adam's Family. I actually rewatched this movie today. I actually watched a few of these movies today. This is actually a pretty funny movie, in my opinion. You have to wait, though.
It's
50
got that.
minutes.
This
If-
has the
if I
MC
can-
Hammer thing, right?
What's that?
This has the MC Hammer thing.
Are you...
What MC Hammer thing?
MC Hammer did like the soundtrack.
Oh, the ending song? Was that MC Hammer?
I'm pretty sure it was
I
because.
think that he might be right, but it was the very end sequence,
Yeah.
which is weird.
Oh,
that
but
you would
no,
bring
but
that
he
up.
did like 2 songs for it, and that's just like kind of on the tail end of MC Hammer. But
If I can speak up, I'm the one that put this movie forward, and it is not necessarily straight up like has any relation to Thanksgiving, but it has one of the most incredibly like a lot of people of our era will distinctly remember the play, the summer
Yes.
camp play
Yeah.
about the first Thanksgiving.
I
I do, yeah. For
I
your
put this-
I'm going to play the victim
Yeah.
for your whole life, or it's just
I-
something to that effect.
I
is the
think
line.
that this, I completely agree. I think that the movie, so I'm a big Addams Family fan in general. Like, I think that the original concept, even the original show.
the Gorley shit,
Yeah, exactly. The black and white. I love that. The original film, I think that was phenomenal. Addams Family Values, if you're a fan, then you know that it is obviously the weaker.
campy.
Yeah,
It is.
It's very
It
It's
is.
campy.
supposed to. It was
Incredibly
built to be campy, but
Right, but they also
At least that movie, it
it wasn't great. That's my opinion.
It wasn't,
That's my
it
honest
wasn't.
opinion. But
It was actually a movie, in my respect, looking at it, if I can interject real quick, it was meant to subvert every character.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. So what I will say in praise of the film is that the camp scenes,
Yes.
They were-
the actual like the campground scenes, those were phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that particular scene that we're obviously all referencing, even though the movie
That
did
was
not
a
take
great
place, 'cause
scene.
it was obviously summer camp, so it did not take place
during
during
Oh,
Thanksgiving.
at least we don't think so.
No,
Like,
and I will fully say, I was the one that suggested this movie strongly just on the portrayal of the camp play.
Yeah.
it's weird that they would have a camp play about Thanksgiving.
And it is in
Like, why would they do that?
So that's just it though. And this is what I want to touch upon. What that movie did, and I think that this was with intent, is that what that film did is that the campground was particularly described as this like
Waspy.
It was waspy.
Yeah,
That's
it
one
was
way to
very
put it.
waspy.
it was also really PC.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
It was.
Well,
it was
that was the
this,
whole movie
this
in
camp
itself,
that
but-
they sent Wednesday and Pugsley to
Pugsley.
was Pugsley. What did I say?
You said Pugly.
Oh,
Close enough.
Say the goddamn name. Like,
Pugsley.
Jesus Christ.
The bottom line
respect
is
on
that where these kids went to, they were met with the Joneses. They were met with everything the Addams Family was always met with, which is quintessential society.
yeah.
Exactly.
Or
yeah.
what the popular
Right,
thing
exactly.
is. But
And so what it was is that when they went to this camp and then encountered this whole lifestyle, what it culminated with is this telling of how we all got here.
it was
which
a,
is what
it was a
Thanksgiving
great
tries
form
to
of
do.
irony.
Exactly.
For what it was doing.
Yeah. And the camp was this message by itself. And then on top of that, was trying to put on a play to tell you
To push
that
it.
all of this is validated and you are here and we are just perfect, essentially white people and so on and so forth and what have you.
Also with the venture of like I can't remember the actors and actors. There's been a lot of shit, but like the whitewashing of the whole thing,
Exactly.
like how extreme it was. Like
Yeah.
you need to be so waspy
Yeah.
about this,
And that's what makes that so
Well,
great because Wednesday
camp,
and
though.
Pugsley take that over as Native Americans and usurp the power structure so that they can tell the story. And that is fantastic because it goes a full circle with it, where not only do they actually tell something of a real, very
actual,
morbid
yeah.
history, but on top of that, they also, and this is what makes the film itself for me so enjoyable, because the rest of the film is kind of wishy-washy
it's
a little bit.
middling at best.
But we're not talking about film. We're talking about Thanksgiving.
Right. But they do this two things at the same time, that they tell the story of Thanksgiving in the
They
real
do
way,
do
which is
that,
the opposite of the way
Yep.
that the camp wanted it to be told. And at the same time as they're doing that, they're also
Telling
validating
the
themselves
actual
as
story,
they're
yeah.
also they're also telling the story of the Adamses.
Yeah.
They're telling the story of that they are the outsiders, they are against the grain. And you might want to tell a story about, American, moralism or something like that.
and also fuck the status quo.
Yeah.
We're
Exactly.
here.
Yeah.
We're doing our
You've
thing.
got a picture of how we should live and how we should remember history, but we are the Adamses. This is how we live, and we also remember history the way that it was. And you killed a bunch of Native Americans, but on top of that, they also tell their own version of that by recreating it in the opposite way as the camp does. The camp wants to tell the story of a nice, peaceful Thanksgiving dinner, and they go, first of all, we're not going to do that. But on top of it, we're going to take it a step further. We won't actually really tell the full story. We'll get just to that same place where you busted out of it. And now it's going to be the Native Americans butchering the white man, because that's the story that we want to tell as Adamses. In other words, I think that the film redeems itself with that scene, despite the fact that
the rest of the
it
film
was
is
a little
hot garbage.
Yeah,
I
the
would
rest of it is
fully-
mediocre. But I think that it redeems itself with that.
Well,
It redeems the
Christopher Lloyd and Joan Cusack being in love. Wasn't that a thing?
Yes,
Well,
it was. I was going to make a joke because isn't that I was surprised that John Cusack got himself so dustied up for that
Yeah.
role.
They're the same person.
Yeah,
Joe.
they're the same person.
Subscribe to the Patreon, and I will tell you all about how John and Joe
Don't
are the same
make
person.
Nobody
false
wants that.
promises.
So, real quick, it was the original Addams Family where MC Hammer did a song for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
that was
original
the
one.
first one. The first one. Yeah.
So
Too
it-
Legit to Quit was in that, right?
So, in this one, it was Tag Team that did Addams Family in parentheses Womp.
Whoop, there it is.
Yeah.
Or
So,
I guess Womp. There it is.
Whatever.
I don't think this movie is too bad. Like the rest of
Grades.
it. I
fine.
thought the Gomez Morticia dance scene was pretty funny.
Yes, it is.
I think that the storyline was weak. That was the problem.
I mean,
Yeah, but it was going to be on the second go. Like, what are you really
I'm
going
not,
to do?
I'm not,
with
I'm not
Addams
shitting on
Family?
it. I'm just saying that it's.
But
it's
is it a
nowhere near as good as
Thanksgiving
the
movie?
first.
That's the real question.
what I would say, it is not really a Thanksgiving
No.
movie, but it's a nice bridge from Halloween to Thanksgiving. So if you want to watch it somewhere around like November 1st, 2nd, 3rd,
Yeah.
That does
then
put
that's
it in a
fine.
new
And,
light for
and
me.
that's an interesting point too, because I would actually, I would like to kind of double down on that a little bit, or explore it a little bit further. I think that although we are focusing on Thanksgiving movies, I think that maybe outside of this particular judging that we're doing, but in a colloquial sense, I think that sometimes movies just do have like a Thanksgiving feel. They don't need to be.
it's a lean. It's a tilt. Sometimes
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't need to be about
This
that.
is
And
hard.
I think that movie, while I do like, as far as our judging goes, and we haven't thrown out the grades or whatever,
Yeah.
but I will say legitimately that does feel like a Thanksgiving movie.
I agree with that sentiment, but at the same time, you don't see that happening. Like sometimes movies can be Christmassy, Thanksgiving-y,
Yeah.
but there was no like Adam's Family values is what
Yeah.
we're talking about.
Yes.
Wasn't supposed to be set in any particular
wasn't.
themed
wasn't.
time.
It was
Well,
set
it was-
over
it
the
was-
summer
it was
because they
set-
went to
yeah, it
summer
was
camp.
Yeah, and so that makes it a little
Yeah.
bit more estranged from the Thanksgiving. Like, I get that the Addams Family are spooky,
Well, then-
so that kind of lends to the like that transition that you're talking about.
So I'll put it this
But-
way then. I'll put it this
but
way.
it's not.
For myself.
That's
then,
not where the movie was.
by all means, and I do agree with what you're saying. I'll put it this way. For myself, that when I watch that scene, and maybe it's just me, but when I see the scene, because Thanksgiving is such a specific holiday,
Yeah.
you know,
Fair,
it's close to
yeah.
more, that when I see those scenes and that like within that scene, that you know, which is fairly
Yeah.
lengthy within the film, it has more of an autumny feel, even though it's like it's the end of summer.
yeah.
Summer camp is
Well,
ending.
that's-
Yeah.
So you're talking about end of summer.
That's the
You're-
Halloween
Yeah.
feel of the Addams
Exactly.
movies.
But
And
it's
I
weird
think
that they were
that-
doing it then, like, which was
yeah.
going to be mid-August at best.
I'm the one that suggested this, and like I literally said when I suggested it, it's literally because of this particular
Scene.
section of
Yeah.
scenes.
Yeah.
But it is such a visual narrative that
Yeah.
so many people.
Dan, do we
recognize.
know
it's
when
the-
that
and
came
it's
out?
so memorable.
Yes.
Oh, when it
I
came
think-
out in theaters?
I think it was 1991. I think.
No,
yeah,
like
yeah,
what
yeah.
month? Like, was it?
Oh, I don't. Oh no.
Because that
Goodness.
could play into
No,
it.
Dan, what day?
On the 13th.
That could
month.
play into it. Like what month? Like around what time it came out?
Well,
Was it a summer movie? Was it a?
Okay, all
fucking
right. So
winter
I was
movie?
mistaken. 1991 was when the original Addams Family came
Yeah,
out.
this
It was
probably
1993,
3. Yeah.
and so this came out November 19th.
Oh. Okay.
So see, now I could put it kind of in there.
So
All right.
what I will say, Justin,
Yeah.
finish your point.
As the person that put this forth, this is like a solid C plus B minus to me.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I would put this in as a C.
Yeah, because it's
All right. So I
I'm
gotta
quantifying a portion of the movie.
Yeah.
What were you doing?
A C plus. It's essentially a C.
Yeah.
Between
A C or a
yeah,
C
a C.
plus?
C. Just C is the median.
Yeah.
I'm giving a B
Yeah.
B? All right.
because
So
I love the movie.
Moses, what were you thinking?
You put a B.
I put a B. I put a B.
I'm going C minus because I find
that's fair.
I find Four Brothers to be more Thanksgiving-y.
So what I'm gonna do is I will put this here in the C column,
Yeah.
and we'll move on to the
We'll
next movie,
address as
and
we go
we'll
on.
address it as we go on
Yeah.
because I think that was pretty much the
Things are
average.
going to change.
Low
but
B
yeah.
and C. So I think C is sort of where we live here.
I put it forward with a definite asterisk
Addendum.
next
Yeah.
to it.
Like
Yeah.
there's
All right.
going to be changes made.
So the next movie, I think this is actually a pretty good Thanksgiving movie, although it's not of the same ilk of its, spiritual predecessor, Dutch.
Yeah.
Starring Ed
I
O'Neill.
think Dutch is a significant fucking Thanksgiving movie.
It is
just because
it's all about
it's getting him to Thanksgiving,
Give it,
like to
That
have
is the
Thanksgiving with
journey
his mother.
towards.
yeah, that is essentially, and we'll talk about this movie later. It is a poor man's version of planes, trains, and automobiles, and the whole setting, the whole mission of the entire movie is that Ed O'Neill is picking up his,
Yeah.
I guess his
Stepkid.
well, I
of
don't think they're
sorts.
married yet,
Well,
but,
yeah, like
he's-
it's hard to describe how
he's,
they're
he's
related.
dating
but,
his mom, dating
but it
single
isn't
mom
his
life.
bloodborne.
Yeah. And so he goes, like he wants to bond with this child. And so he, instead of like flying out, he's going to do the chauvinist male
Yep,
stubbornness thing.
And the kid doesn't want any
And
part
he-
of it.
yeah, he doesn't know who he is and he hates him because
This is over the top, right?
You're not wrong, but no, but that was Stallone's actual kid.
yeah.
I think in both respects.
And so the whole, it's like a buddy comedy road trip type movie, but the entire thesis of it is going back home for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It absolutely is. And the funny thing about Dutch is like it very much is like I'm with the mom now, but I also largely don't know you as a child.
Yeah.
Or
But the
person.
mother knew him,
Yes.
and
But
and I get it was a different time when this was filmed. So
Yes.
like nowadays, this would would be understandable to anyone. But like there was a time when you could like kind of trust people.
What do you mean that the mother didn't know him?
No, I was asking. Like I said that as a question,
Oh,
but
okay. No, the mother.
yeah, no, the mother that
the
was
mother
her new
that was her new-
betrothed.
yeah,
like
yeah,
they
yeah.
were kind of it was loosely alluded to that they were engaged.
That they were like kind of like
So
in a
let me-
serious
They were
relationship.
getting to the next
So
step.
it's, for myself, if I may interject, it's been a
Absolutely.
long time. So basically, it's Ed O'Neill.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
the
Yes.
he's the
He's
father.
the stepfather.
The kid's like
Yeah.
an aristocrat.
Yeah.
Right, and the mother's an aristocrat.
I don't know if they no, I think he's like a regular, like just a regular kid from like a middle class
No,
family.
he's not.
No,
His-
he's
Oh,
not.
is he?
No,
His
he's not.
father is rich.
Oh, is it
Yes,
like the toy?
Yeah, no, they're like rich kids. Oh
It's-
wow, that's an obscure reference.
What? I love the
Holy
toy.
Shit, that's
Can we
weird
do
that
a
you even know that.
podcast on just the
Don't
toy?
get distracted.
He's the prissy of like the
Yes.
boarding school kids.
I thought he
Yeah.
was I knew he was in boarding school,
Yeah.
but I just thought he was like kind of a regular like
No, he
No.
is like
Oh,
to do.
all right.
There's
It's
a
been a
whole
while.
scene where they're eating at a I think it's at a shelter, and he's
Yes.
literally laying all of his
Right.
plasticware out in the proper place.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Ed
yeah.
O'Neill
Ed
leans
looks
like,
in.
what are you doing?
Pull that up.
Can I show you the wine menu?
Yeah, and Ed O'Neill's supposed to be like the more like working class
Yeah.
type dude.
Yeah, but he's got like
Once
he-
again, we are describing over the top.
Yeah.
No, yes, we are. But
Well, there's
Yeah.
no arm wrestling in this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, but it's the same story.
No, this movie makes more sense actually.
Yeah, and also
That's
too,
fair.
and also Ed O'Neill more likable than Sylvester Stallone in that
I
movie.
agree with that.
I
entirely.
absolutely agree with
real
1000%.
life? Ed O'Neill. More
Yeah.
likable than Sylvester Stallone in anything he's done. I love Rocky, but like, goddamn, I'd rather see Ed O'Neill as that.
Ed O'Neill, I think, is a motherfucking black belt too.
I
No,
think
he is a
yes,
legitimate
yeah.
I
black
did
belt.
not-
Oh,
I
he
think.
could house fucking what the fuck is his name?
Stallone?
Stallone?
No, the fucking pretend karate guy, Steven
Marky
Seagal.
Mark?
Oh, well,
Oh.
let's not get into that, but yes. Ed O'Neill is a legitimate. He has been involved in kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, and stuff through. And I think he originally came up as a Taekwondo guy.
Yeah.
But yes, he is also like 70 now. So,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's
it's up there in the
so
years.
is Steven
but he
Seagal.
actually has credentials to his name.
Yeah.
Well, I digress. Then Steven Seagal does not have those.
I think this movie is pretty funny. And I also the setup is kind of all right. It's kind of like a generic type, like he
It's a
hates his
hard pull.
mom. Yeah, it's kind of like it's a good-natured comedy. It doesn't have too many
It's a good
risque
nature comedy,
things.
very
I
much
don't
of
think
its
it's
time.
meant to be a comedy, though.
It is a comedy.
Is it?
Very much
I
so.
thought that was a
Of course,
drama.
it's a comedy.
It's a comedy. There's
I
some
would
drama.
definitely classify it as a comedy.
It's a comedy.
Yeah,
I would go more drama than
It's not a
comedy.
drama.
Like
I
I get there are funny
Have you seen the
instances,
cover
but
of the film?
yeah, but like think about how it ends.
Yeah, no, it doesn't end.
Well, because it ends the
The
same
little
way that
boy
most.
dies of AIDS, right?
Yeah.
the-
Sorry. I
same-
said yes.
Actually, yeah, I will actually see your
He
point.
gotcha. He gotcha.
I will see your point to this. How the movie ends.
Like, it
Do you
doesn't
remember
end-
how the movie ends?
Not terribly, but it wasn't well.
It ends. No, it ends quite heartwarmingly.
Yeah.
And it ends with Ed O'Neill grabbing his toy gun or whatever,
Right.
and shooting the kid in the ass,
Yes,
as
yeah.
he promised him that he would
He
do
would.
at the very
Yeah,
beginning
yeah,
of the movie when
yeah.
he attacked him.
There
he
you go.
got the kid, and the kid actually learned something.
Yes.
And that's not where I wanted to start. I wanted, I wanted the wife and Ned O'Neill to like hug and
They,
the
what?
kid.
I'm pretty sure they did.
Did they?
And also, I think Ed O'Neill got an extension because the husband was going to kick the wife
Yeah,
and kid
yeah,
out of the house.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
And so he's like, he punched him in the forehead with his ring.
yeah, that's the whole thing. I forgot
And
about
he
that.
turned
yeah.
him into practically made him retarded after that. Like
Yeah.
gave him a severe concussion or something.
That's
So-
back when you could get away with
This
it.
was just a long episode of Married with Children then.
Yeah.
He's
Nah.
got a better lease on life than Al Bundy.
Well, that's maybe fair. I don't remember what he did.
All right, so
Yeah.
grading wise for this movie,
Hey,
I give it an A. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't think it's as
that's Thanksgiving.
hysterical as it's not like a must see every Thanksgiving. But if you've already watched a couple of movies that maybe fit a little bit more into the time of year, Judge, I think-
Thematically, it is a low A for me. Definitely.
I'll give it an A minus.
I'm going to be the outlier then. I'm going to give it a B. It's clearly a Thanksgiving film.
Yeah.
There's no doubts there.
Pete doesn't
but-
give much
but the-
more than B's.
Wow. All right, is that a blowjob joke or what? I don't even know what we're talking about.
I mean,
anymore.
we still have to get into it, but
I'm sticking by the B, regardless of what Moses
So
said.
that was
fair,
that was
fair.
3 A's and a B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
that's
so,
an A, and
yeah, so that's-
overall for me.
So that is going to go right into the A section.
Yeah.
Straight
makes
to
sense.
Hollywood.
Maybe
Yeah.
your grade will mark it down a little later. We only have a few more.
Here's how I'm
We will.
There you go.
Well, I can't
I can
hold it.
barely see.
Well, I'm passing it to you.
This will make sense someday.
I can't. I can't see what you're doing. All right. All right. So, thank you. Thanks for that.
Now Dan has to edit that out.
And you know how much he loves editing.
Yeah.
All right. So, The next one on the docket, I don't know if this will be a little controversial or if it will, be right on the nose, but The Oath.
Oh, wow.
I will defend this film to the death.
I need an I think I have seen it.
Okay. So The Oath came out in what? I want to say, 2014, 2020.
Might have been a
Around
little
there.
sooner. No, I think it's post 2016 because
Is it really?
Yeah. Because
Okay.
I'm fairly certain who they were trying to make this movie about.
It was so. Let me jump in there. So the
Yeah.
gist of it is that the movie jumps in. So it's a dramatic comedy.
It's
leads-
Ike Barinholtz of what the hell was he in?
I don't know.
Wow.
I know he was in the Mindy
Did
Show.
you
and
interrupt me to have a thought by yourself?
I'll just introduce who
and
the
you
players
were
are.
right. And you said Ike Barinholtz, and you're right. So
There you
like
go.
we're all
I
laughing
forget
at you
what
for being
he's
right.
in.
The bottom line is that the
think he wrote
storyline,
it,
and
too.
please amend me if I butcher this
2018
a
is the
little bit.
year.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I was smack dab in the middle. The gist of it is that we open up upon a family, and they're about to celebrate Thanksgiving. So they've all gathered in the home. They have the in-laws, and we are in a not too distant dystopian future,
Right.
in which a president has just been elected, et cetera, et cetera. So presumably the election just unfolded, and there is a law which has been passed which says that you are not obligated to, you can sign an oath
Yes.
directly to
Yes.
the president of the United States. That basically just says that you're loyal to him. So it's obviously for an American, that's not a comfortable decision that you would make. And you don't have to do it, but it's dividing society. And so basically, as soon as he became president, so you figure that that's like he was elected on the 4th, let's just call it that, of November.
Right.
And then we flash forward.
Solidified by mid-November.
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
So we're in
Go by.
terms of it, like the beginning.
And so people have had some weeks to really think about this. And obviously, as is the case with American politics, you've got some people who probably love this president, and you could call him whatever side of the political party that
It
you want.
also,
Is that all the oath was just like, oh, I abide by whatever the president
Yeah,
says?
it's effectively
Like, it's
just
kind of-
swearing allegiance
It's
to that
swearing
It's
president.
just a generic overlay
it's also
thing.
it plays to the thing that a lot of people fear about Thanksgiving is confronting your family
This
who are
is
still-
About
where I was
politics
going
or
with it,
religion, yeah.
It's that, yeah. So
and also at the same time, I think you were about to get into this. Maybe you were going to do a little
He
bit
was,
more.
yeah.
But if you did not sign that pledge if you did not sign the oath and pledge your loyalty to the president, then you would be harangued by the federal agency.
not inherently. You didn't know that at the beginning. That was something which
I think that was part of the question of
Yeah,
it.
that was unclear. It was so that basically all that you knew from the time period of the election up until Thanksgiving, you had to make you had to put your name to the document by Black Friday.
Yes.
Which again is such an interesting
Day to do
yeah,
that,
they
yeah.
chose to do it. It really tells you something about what the film was trying to say to you about the consumerism of
Well,
America.
they
and
wanted
where
to
we're
make
going.
it the most important day of
But
an
you had
American's
exactly
life.
the most important day is of course Black Friday, because that's what we're all about, consumerism. So basically, the very next day after this day, which is supposed to be about family, regardless as to where you stand politically, you're supposed to enjoy it with your family. The very next day, you will be divided if
Yes.
you didn't choose the same
Yeah.
things. And so it's a dystopian America, and that's really all that you know. You don't know anything else about.
Well, it's also too like the characters that we're introduced to is the main character is like super newsy,
Yes.
super woke.
Yes, yeah.
type
Yeah,
situation.
you've got-
But it's all like, because I thought the fact that the family was interracial had
That's a part
a
of it.
bit of
part of
it
it,
to
yeah.
do, but it
But we're-
doesn't seem
but-
like that's what the oath is about.
No,
no,
it
it has nothing
wasn't.
to do with
Yeah,
that.
and we're getting into the weeds with
Yeah.
it. That's not what
That-
not what the movie was about.
Oh, I thought that's why they did
No,
that.
that is
Like,
the screening.
Well, that's also a good conduit for the movie because there's
Well-
one character who is super obsessed with the news and constantly getting like notifications on his phone, like, oh, this has happened, this has happened, this has happened. It helps get you into that political drama that they are
The
painting.
bottom line about it is that really what it is that it is so quintessentially a Thanksgiving film, and this was alluded to with another film we were discussing, or whatever the case may
it
be.
does really
But
make
the bottom
sense,
line
yeah.
is that this is a family that's trying to just have Thanksgiving dinner. And because it's almost like that Thanksgiving was the central plot line.
It's
And
the setting
then-
in this.
Well,
and
it's
then-
then
plays,
that's
it
kind of
plays up the trope of like going to Thanksgiving dinner of like the trope is like the weird uncle that's the extreme.
Yeah.
This brought so many of these family members together, and they do love each other, and they do want to have a nice Thanksgiving dinner. And you could replace this concept of the politics with something else.
Right.
It just wouldn't be a good movie.
It also wouldn't be The Oath. It would be a different movie.
Yeah, it would be a boring movie
Yeah.
because, I mean, you could just go to your own
Without
Thanksgiving
the
dinner and
conflict.
argue with your own in-laws, you know? So they introduced this concept, which obviously is very contemporary for ourselves, where it's about like the way in which politics is dividing us.
Yeah.
And they use that as a means to convey this underlying theme of the real drama of life, which we can all relate to, even if you're in a family where it's like, you could all be Republicans or all be Democrats, and you still will experience what this family felt. And basically, over the course of the film, they diverge from each other and basically end up in two political camps. And then even within those camps, they divide further, and it's basically just infighting. And so the movie is 100% about the concept of Thanksgiving. And the political concept, which I personally think is genius. I love the film because it was satirical. You have to approach it as a comedy. It's a great delivery for that concept because it's the husband arguing with the wife.
It's such a great take on family coming home, in which there's a lot of disparaging disagreement, and it's something that's always a trope that's existed for fucking forever.
Exactly,
yeah.
And it takes it to the extreme.
Yeah.
And
politics is the low-hanging fruit there.
Yeah.
And as a movie maker, of course that's something to
It's
to
an
touch
easy
upon.
guffaw.
Yeah.
But,
But it's also
it's also like
it's
a
so
kind
common.
of, it's an
Yeah.
instrumental
It's so,
guffaw.
yeah. And it's like, I mean, these days it's like, I'm fucking 40 years old.
Yep.
So it's like, there was a time where I didn't know people that have like real arguments about politics, like in a serious way, if they were like family members. And now, like I observe it and, at the very least in other people's families where it's like, it's, it's comical to me as the outsider looking in. And this movie encapsulates that and does it so well.
It does also go into how they are still family at the end of it all. There's that divergence.
Yeah.
And then, but there's still that one whole thing that they all agree on. Like, we still love each
well,
other.
it's an anxiety piece based on real fucking shit.
Exactly.
And also being made in 2018, it's fairly
No,
prophetic.
very-
It's
fairly
fairly
prophetic.
prophetic,
exactly.
because there was a certain thing that we all had to do.
It was
or not.
made when it was made because
And
when it was made.
on top of that, I will say that just to chime in again on how this is a real Thanksgiving movie, besides that they reference it nonstop.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
When one of them isn't saying it and the other one's freaking out, and then another person is like, listen, it's Thanksgiving. You need to just drop this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't talk about politics right now. And then they're the ones going off on the
Yeah,
highway.
let your job go for a minute, and you don't have to be on your phone all the time.
And exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And even when there was outsiders,
I do
without
remember
spoiling
this
too
film,
much,
yeah.
but even when outsiders showed up to their Thanksgiving dinner, these
Well, that's when the stakes really go up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even then, and the situation degraded so monumentally, even those outsiders and the people in the home. And this is something that I do find interesting about it. I think you see the same thing with Christmas. And Thanksgiving and Christmas are probably unique, at least in my mind, in terms of like American camaraderie. Even though they were being affronted by an outsider, somebody that was completely from the without. Even then, they were like, it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Shouldn't we treat this person with like a certain degree of dignity?
Yeah.
We're all Americans, and this is a holy day for us. And that's, I think that's like, that really encapsulates it for me. 'Cause
and that's a very fair
I'm not
point.
a religious person. so.
There's a level of decorum that we handle this with.
I was never raised religious, and so for me,
Right.
it's like Thanksgiving is kind of like a holy day.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to treat everybody I'm going to give you a little bit of grace on this day,
And that's what it is. It's like everybody, like, we all know our crazy fucking family members. And sometimes we are the crazy fucking family members.
Exactly.
But we go through it with a level of grace. This
Exactly,
is Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
This is what
if it's
we
a regular
fucking do.
Tuesday in March, then you can go fuck yourself.
Right.
But if it's Thanksgiving, you know what? Maybe I just bite my tongue a little bit,
Yeah, we can all agree this turkey sucks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And the whole point is to be here together as either a family or a people or something like that. And I think that movie really did a great job of doing that and making it funny.
I do like that movie, and I will rate it fairly high.
Yeah.
I'm clearly giving it an A. So you don't gotta ask.
Well, here's where I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
I think this is a low S, high A movie. because I would say that because of what you said, it does embody the Thanksgiving, idea, and it does it very well. Now, I don't know how many times I laughed during that movie, but I was enthralled with that movie. So, in my personal opinion, low S, high A.
Dan, I'm going to agree with you, and you mostly because of the statement you just made. It's like, you don't know, it's not about the yucks or whatever the case may be, but it is kind of like a sacrosanct Thanksgiving family movie.
Yeah.
It is definitely, at minimum, A+ for me, definitely within S territory.
Do I got a definitive on both of you, since you're kind of wavering between
I will give an A+.
A+?
A+ is where I'm going to land.
I'm an A+, baby.
A+?
You're an A+?
Moses, what do you think?
A+? You're an A+?
I'm waiting for what you think.
I'm going to give this an A.
You're going to give it an A?
Yeah.
All right, so because you said that, does it really matter? Because your A would cancel out if I give it an S- or whatever. So I'm going to put this in the A column, and I'm going to hurt myself by putting it above Dutch.
It does hurt, but
I personally feel that way, but Dutch is
Touch is a fucking great movie.
Dutch is a great movie.
But it's fair.
And
But
you
it's
gave
but there's a reason why.
I gave an A+. I'll give it the highest score that I can. I think it's
an S is the highest score that you can give it.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's getting an A.
it's getting an A.
It's getting an A. Getting an A. But the reason why Dutch gets an A, in my opinion, is because of the next movie, which I think is an automatic S. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. It is the quintessential Thanksgiving movie.
What I'm going to say is I think we need to talk about it, but I think we're all falling on S tier.
I'm just going to put it.
There's no way to argue with it.
It's really just
as much as I love the Oath. There's no way to argue with that.
No, it's an S across the board, right?
It is really just. Oh my God, what do you say about it?
It's the quintessential. Absolute. It has everything. The travel, the everything, the end.
The
goal.
annoyance of the people next to you, everything about the travel of
travel.
It's all about the journey. It has nothing about the destination. It's all journey.
So for myself, since I just gave so much praise to the Oath, what I would like to do is interject with why I think that Planes, Trains is better.
Yeah.
Better
fair.
than
Very fair.
It's that I think that they're the same in so many ways. I personally prefer the classics because I'm an old man.
Yes.
But let's leave that out of it. What makes Planes, Trains better is that you have this really gut-wrenching, heartfelt emotion at the end of it that, for myself anyway, really made me feel for the lead characters. It made me relate to them. And basically you feel the pain of the characters, and you didn't get that with the Oath. The Oath was comedy.
I'm going to jump in right now because I'm not going to be able to say anything better. It is a movie about the journey to an end.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it ends. I can't even say it better than our guests hit. Right. It is
America.
so much. It's just such a fitting movie.
Yeah.
For the journey and then the culmination about it.
And it's the perfect ending.
It's the perfect
ending.
It's the perfect ending. Everything that's already been said is exactly 100% accurate. It is about the travel because it's a nightmare to travel on Thanksgiving, Christmas, all of those holidays. Having to deal with work. You got a plane to catch, but you can't leave because your boss is a dipshit. And just running into this one guy, that one chatterbox that you meet on the plane or train or wherever the fuck won't leave you the fuck alone. And it doesn't even have the courtesy to be fucking John Candy.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
And John Candy is spectacular in this. He's equal parts thoughtless asshole, but also heart of gold.
He was a great actor.
Well,
that is absolutely.
I think he was just playing himself in that.
And Steve Martin is also really Steve Martin is the straight man. Yeah. For the longest time, I didn't realize Steve Martin was a comedic actor because of how good of a straight man he played in this movie.
This movie for Steve Martin is such a testament. And there are things I don't like about Steve Martin, but this is such a testament to why he is so legendary.
Yeah, exactly.
Why he is so great at what he does. Because
he's done a lot of
he could be comedic,
a
serious comedic. Yeah. And that's a hard fucking thing to just pull off.
He was able to pull off this this really stressed out, at times sardonic.
Yes.
Just character. He was just tired of John Candy's shit. And I know I said it last time when we talked about this movie in the last podcast that we did about Thanksgiving, But the scene where they wake up in bed together
Absolutely.
is a fucking comedy classic. And also at the same time, the scene, I can't drive my car sometimes. And think of the scene of him just driving around, going all over the road, playing the air piano to mess around.
Yeah.
That movie is fantastic. If I could go above S, it would be in that bracket.
I agree.
It is. If you watch one movie on Thanksgiving,
I was going to say,
I
was trying to not do too many spoilers because these are for some people these are obscure films. I know that The Oath is, but I feel like The Oath and certainly Planes, Trains. I know a lot of people that are typically younger than myself.
Yeah, younger.
But I know a lot of people who've never seen this film, and I don't want to spoil every. I do.
Like these other ones that I'm looking at the list, I could see.
Yeah.
But why wouldn't you have never seen
Planes, Trains, and
Automobiles?
Automobiles have evaded a lot of fucking people.
Yeah.
Not
Also,
too much
that's
younger
bizarre.
than us.
You forget, Moses, you're like 50 years old. Yeah. My girlfriend's 25. I doubt that she's ever seen this.
Yeah.
And now I'm just thinking about how I need to show it to her.
Yeah,
It's a real thing.
I'm thinking how
it's
bad
fucking
of a
true.
big brother I am for not showing my sisters this movie.
Yeah,
So,
and
yeah.
you are.
You're
You are a
both
bad brother for
terrible.
that.
You are both terrible.
And this
All
is-
right, that gets an S.
Literally the point of how quickly generations change. I'm pretty sure my brother, who's 2 years younger than me, knows about this movie. My sister, who's 7 years younger than me, probably has no idea.
Right?
About this
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
movie.
I doubt that Amanda's ever seen it. Yeah, my younger sister.
It wasn't a big hit, one of those even cult
It was
classics
more-
that
it was
gets
more of a
pushed through.
sleeper hit
I
over
think it was
time
a
than
hit though
anything.
because John Hughes, who made it, was greenlighted to essentially make the same exact movie with just a slightly different premise, which was Dutch.
Dutch.
It's one of those
Oh,
things
John Hughes did
which
Dutch?
bombed, by the
fairly
way.
certain. I think I know this.
I
by
didn't
heart
know
by now.
that.
Yeah, Dutch bombed. Regardless, though,
Dutch
it's
did
that-
bomb, but it
Some-
didn't have anybody
some
in it.
things, the bottom line is that we're talking about a movie which is many decades old, and some things get rewatched all the time, and they enter into new generations,
Yeah.
and some movies don't. And as to how that happens and why, I don't know.
I
That's a whole
understand
podcast
Dutch.
by
I
itself.
understand Dutch in that sense.
Well, that bombed in the
but
first
like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles seems a little weird to me.
It's
I
not. There's so many things in that I think that the
You
reason,
also got to understand when that movie came out.
Yeah.
What was it? Early
1987.
87. Okay, yeah.
there's so many visuals in that just aren't relatable to you if you're
well,
a young
that
person.
I
think about a
kinda get,
payphone
but
right
yeah.
now. Not for nothing.
It's
you know?
also
It's like a minor
generations
thing.
of comedy too. There were eras of movies. So
That
yeah,
had different comedy,
Plane,
yeah.
Trains, and Automobiles, 87. And the reason I distinctly remember this is I was in the hospital for a long time in the early 90s, and that was the Father of the Bride movies.
Oh, okay, yeah. It was
Which
still
I
with
find
Steve Martin.
there was a
and-
distinct difference.
Oh yeah.
In there.
Well,
it
that's
was a
like-
different kind of
there's-
it could have
there's-
been the same character that he was
but I'm
playing,
just saying
but
there was
Comedy changes the same way as
a
language.
it was
comedy
the
level
situation.
different
Yeah.
change.
Yeah. All of these things change, and not everybody's. They don't always age the same way.
No.
Some types of comedy are timeless, and other types aren't. And you need to have either that type of a mindset because you're that type of a person.
It's
Like
also
I can,
generational.
I
too.
see.
I
John
can
Candy died.
But I could also accept that with The Jerk. I get how that's not for everyone and why that would be forgotten. But
Well, but I mean, I'll
but
give
Plane,
you this
Trains, and
example.
Automobiles just seems like a family thing where
You're
The
saying-
Jerk, you're just kind of
You're
either
saying,
watch
you're
or you
saying
don't.
that because I think that you're looking at it from your objective perspective.
It
because
might be from where I saw it
Yeah.
because it wasn't popular when I was.
I enjoy
growing
watching
up,
The
but
Three Stooges,
I love
which was
that, yeah.
done. long
I
before
don't
was
mean to
born.
barge in, but we maybe should get a little more concise. I think we kind of labeled our S tier one right now, and should probably
Yeah, if
visit
there's
what else
anything
we have.
else,
Well,
let's get it done.
I was just going to also add to it as well. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was written, directed, and produced by John Hughes. Dutch was not directed by John Hughes, but was written and produced by John Hughes.
Yeah.
All right, so next movie on the docket. This one is a great movie, in my opinion, but it's not much of a Thanksgiving movie.
Con Air.
Rocky.
Oh.
Rocky
I did see it on there.
Rocky has been considered by some to be a Thanksgiving movie, and I'm here to tell you, it's one scene.
Yeah,
It's one goddamn
they
scene.
do celebrate Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
and it's not great.
And it's also a very awkward scene where Paulie throws the turkey outside, and you could just see him verbally abuse Adrian the entire time.
I mean, in some ways, that sounds like.
I mean, that's quintessential.
It's the closest we've
There's a lot
gotten
of
so far to
Italian
Thanksgiving,
stereotypes out there.
but
in my personal opinion, if we were just going based on movie, this would be an S. But Thanksgiving,
I'm gonna give that a low score for.
I'm giving this a C.
I'm doing a D there.
I'm gonna give it a D.
A D. Yeah, it's not a Thanksgiving movie.
I quantified the Addams Family movie with a very loose association. This is an even looser association with less of a practical recall. This is
because it wasn't relevant.
I'm giving it a C minus. So give it a. Yeah.
I want to elucidate that just a little bit further. Just fill in those gaps there. With Addams Family, I agree with you. That was an important part of the movie. With that, swap out that scene in fucking Rocky.
I barely remember it.
I mean, that is an important scene in that movie, but it has nothing to do with Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly. You could swap out that scene with it. Could have been.
It could have been any other day. It could have been any other.
It had nothing to do with that. Yeah.
Effectively, what I will say, I've placed it in the C tier, low C tier, below Addams Family.
Yeah.
Both of you said D, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm giving it a D minus now, just to put it in the D column.
Well, it's not there, and we'll retool. And we'll retool later.
I'm glad you stopped him because I was about to retool my answer.
Now I just only realized he's assessing his scores just to orchestrate people.
Right.
All right. So next one on the docket is Scent of a Woman. I think we talked about this briefly the last time we did a Thanksgiving.
We did. I think we did a little bit.
Effectively, it is Chris O'Donnell's character's Thanksgiving break.
Yes.
And he goes to work for Al Pacino's character. I'm not remembering the names.
Nope.
But it's effectively, it's more of a bucket list movie. But
it wasn't Chris O'Donnell. It was
Chris O'Donnell.
It was Chris O'Donnell.
Was it?
Yeah, it was Chris O'Donnell. Chris O'Donnell and Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Why am I thinking Dustin Hoffman?
Because you're thinking of a completely different movie, I think. There you go. You can look it up.
Yeah,
I'm done fact checking for a little bit.
It's
the scenelet of this movie is Thanksgiving.
It is.
I think it was. But it's for the large part. It isn't there's no. I don't think there's a Thanksgiving meal. There's nothing like most of it is just him taking around the Al Pacino character doing his bucket list.
Thanksgiving break. That's the most concise connection to it, and I get that, and that's fine. But it has nothing really to do. And I love that movie.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I really love that movie. But the connection is so slight.
I think it's more of a. I think what I would say too, to make this more concise, I would put this above the Four Brothers in terms of it, but still a B.
Fair. I think that's kind of fair. It is definitely a strong line in the movie. It's not necessarily story dependent, but it falls.
I was thinking of The Graduate.
Yes, of course you were. That actually makes sense.
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah.
So I can only base this off of memory. I'm going to throw a B out there.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a strong B movie.
I would say it's a B plus.
We all know that it is a quintessential classic.
Yeah.
That's part of what's sculpting my opinion because I have not seen it in a while.
It's a very good movie. I would put. Again, if we were just ranking the movie in and of itself, it would be in the S tier.
Oh, absolutely.
But
that's a high A plus S tier movie for
Well,
me.
about Thanksgiving, baby. Got to get that turkey.
All right, so we'll move on.
Yeah.
To the next movie, and all right, I watched this movie. I had to re-experience this movie today. Son-in-Law, which is.
I am sorry, but I'm not.
So I did not watch this. I need everybody else to fill me in.
This was at the height of Pauly Shore's fucking, like ability.
I'm gonna give it an F.
And it is totally because it she brings this guy home for Thanksgiving because he has no place to go.
It's like a college movie. Well, she's
and she's she's like this small town girl, farm girl.
Yes.
She goes away to college in California and she meets Pauly Shore, who is this who's Pauly Shore?
He's just being Pauly Shore.
This is prime Pauly Shore, post prime Pauly Shore movies.
Yes. And so,
if there was a prime,
it was not in the Army and then now? In the Army now.
First
and
of all,
that was the
Moses,
next one.
The first thing that I have to say is, may I please borrow your lighter? Second, Dan, I am sorry for the sighs that you're going to have to edit out of my mic because they are real. Go ahead.
Oh no,
everyone.
I suggested this, and it's painful.
Well, I mean, I will say this: it is
a Thanksgiving movie.
It is a Thanksgiving.
It is.
More so than some of these.
It's more so than some of them, but it's not a better movie.
No, it's not a good movie.
In full on, it was
dog shit's dog shit.
Yeah.
nowhere near. When I thought of Thanksgiving movies, it was a lot of like a couple days of like we were thinking about this for like a week or so.
Yeah.
Eventually, I'm like, oh right, Pauly Shore movie. It is coming home for Thanksgiving break.
And like he has to, and he's not even going home. He's going with
somebody else's because he has no family.
Because he has no family.
Because they've abandoned him.
I can't. Yeah, exactly. I was going to say.
Or killed themselves.
Can't imagine why.
There's no comic store.
I hope that he's listening to this, and I hope that he kills himself. I just really, honestly, that's my
We're just kidding, Paulie.
We're
just keep listening.
I'm not kidding. I'm
just
dead
keep
serious.
listening.
We're just kidding YouTube and Spotify. Please don't ban us.
Yeah, he can't
Well, no, I'm not
unalive
saying other
himself.
people should kill themselves. I think that honestly, probably
can't
there
say
is
that at all.
fewer Americans would kill themselves if Pauly Shore would just be dead.
Guys, his mom's dead. He has no power anymore.
All right, that's fair.
Who
Wow.
owns what is it? The Comedy Cellar?
Well, I think he probably is the owning factor.
Like
But that doesn't
like
matter.
I get that he makes money off
Missy
of
Shore
that,
is
yeah.
dead. His father's dead. He's still with us. We all pay the price. What can you do?
That's
Okay, so my overall grade on Son-in-Law, I'm gonna give it a D because
you are a kind God.
Because while it is not a good movie, it is still related to Thanksgiving. And it is. Also, I'm going to preface this with a movie that we'll probably do next. It's not as bad as that movie.
I
hope it's a movie that like the only other one that I could think of.
I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to fall on a D.
Yeah.
Because it is a dog shit fucking movie.
I fucking hate that I'm going to give this a D because you're right. It's a goddamn Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah.
But fuck Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
And I hope he's listening.
I'm giving
and I
it
hope
a
that he
C.
kills himself. You're giving it a C? Why?
Because it's a more Thanksgiving movie than some of these others.
Whatever, dude.
I'm putting it in the D column.
Yep.
Because our 3 Ds
Yeah.
will
Made
allow you to say.
Made a D.
All right.
Still a D, but
The reason why I give
some par with Rocky.
the reason I give Son-in-Law a D is because the movie that you recommended, sir, Americano or whatever the hell your name is.
America.
First of all, I founded this goddamn continent.
No,
Thank you.
Nobody was here.
National Lampoon's Holiday Reunion.
Yeah.
Did any of you?
Never seen it.
No, never seen it.
It is dog shit.
Did you watch it?
I did.
Oh,
shit,
fuck you,
dude.
Dan.
I feel so bad.
And I mean, fuck you, but like, you poor bastard.
Yeah.
It is.
I only put it
I-
out there because I knew it was a thing.
I feel like this is a stain on Bryan Cranston's humanity.
Oh my God,
He-
really?
No, he is. There's
Holy
actually a lot of people in this fucking movie.
Wow.
Judge Reinhold
Yep.
does a bad Chevy Chase impression during the entire.
But if
You know
anybody
what?
was
I'm
going to do
already
a Chevy Chase
regretting.
impression, it should be Judge Reinhold. He's earned it.
This movie is unfucking watchable.
So, if I can throw, like, I'm
Absolutely.
not even the genesis of this. The genesis of this, I don't know which one of you throw it.
That was him.
I did that.
yeah.
I did that. I've
So-
never seen
No
it.
idea what you're
So,
Never
talking
seen
about.
it, which I own.
I did a quick Google,
Yeah.
and by Google, I mean, I didn't even look at the words. I went to Google image search just to see, like, images from the movie. And it was Judge Reinhold. It's like, and it's just, I saw it was 2003. So I'm like, oh, so this is one of these post
Yeah.
I Lampoon
What
movies.
is it called?
Where it's like he's playing one of the kids or something.
Yeah, he was playing a hippie that had a
Yeah.
family, and they just all of the jokes were just like juvenile fart jokes, or just like, oh, this is the sex swing where me and my partner have kinky sex, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, what happened to National Lampoons? Because it used to be like the
They used to have
I'm gonna
a
say-
hallmark of fucking good comedy.
I'm going to say two things. One, I knew that this was a thing that existed, which is why I put it out there. I have never seen it, and I am so sorry.
Well, when
Dan.
you put it
I am
into the
so
chat, I'm like,
sorry.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't remember
The
it.
other thing that I'm going to put out there is that we should all watch this on the big screen at some point.
I'm looking
Just
through this
take it all
cast,
in.
and
We
I
can
don't
drink
know a
as much as we
single
want.
one of these people.
Maybe we use the video for that.
You know
Yeah,
at
I
least
don't know.
one.
Other
or
than
two.
Bryan Cranston and Judge Reinhold.
Yeah,
I don't know any
okay,
of
then
them.
Fine.
I watched it on YouTube, and somebody like posted it, and there were skips, and I was never so happy that it was like a not good upload because like, thank God we skipped whatever.
I was
part.
waiting for you to say like, and then a commercial came up, and it was just such a relief.
I double timed it through this movie. I
Yeah.
literally
Saved my life.
I was just like, listen, I got another half hour left. Just 2 times the speed and let's get through it. I checked out after 15 minutes. This movie is hot fucking garbage. F. If there's anything below F, I would give it that F.
Nice. I mean, I can't.
I'm with you.
And I trust you in this. Your passion.
I
is
looked
real.
at the cast. I looked at the images from the movie. I'm like, this is because National Lampoon did that post. Like,
I'm just gonna put it out there. I mean, for anybody listening, fucking find this movie. Tell us what you think.
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
if you
You
really
can.
hate yourself.
If you can.
All right. So we got 2 left on the docket.
Yeah,
Moses, this is one that you recommended, and I will try to steel man this.
nah.
The Sound of Music.
I saw it.
Please.
I saw it on a list. I've never seen the movie before.
It really seems to be like it's more like in conjunction with Christmas, but it has been associated with the Thanksgiving parade.
Yeah, I thought it was a Christmas movie.
We had a little.
I don't get that either, but
I don't.
I've seen it on a list, and I'm like, I think I've seen that movie.
All right,
but
shut the fuck up.
I actually haven't.
You're getting him angry now.
Which is hilarious. So, like, believe it or not, we do a little back level talk about how we like put these episodes together. We were trying to figure out Thanksgiving movies. You put forth The Sound of Music, which takes place in Austria in like the 1930s.
I want to just real quick, I just want to interrupt you to say something that I know what Moses is doing. He's always trying to inch his way towards putting Schindler's List on our movie list because he knows that Dan doesn't want him to do that.
It's more
And
of a
he's always like
Christmas
trying to finagle some angle where like he can make this into like something. And this is a part of his long con. And I'm
Wait
calling
till
you
we
out,
do
brother.
that Muppet
I'm-
casting movie.
I'm calling you out, dude. That's totally what you're trying to do.
So,
You're
like-
trying to do a slow walk of Schindler's List.
Thanksgiving is like one of like whatever. It's one of the like most low impact American holidays that there is. It's like has such a like a cartoonish origin kind of thing. And like we're talking about movies that have like loose like movies we've talked about. And then you just put out broad balls, The Sound of Music. And it's just like
I wish we had the video component so that other people could see how smugly Moses like rolled his cigarette between his lips and like stared
So
into
they
the
don't
distance.
stick.
It was
I,
so
I wish we
obnoxious.
did have the video for when I said that I watched National Lampoon's holiday reunion, and you all looked at me like,
Astounded.
I'm
It's like, why would
honestly,
you do that?
we're in like the shock part of this.
Dan,
category.
nobody's done that.
all right. So I'm not a big fan of musicals to begin with.
But
So
I'm sorry about fucking like Julie Andrews, Do Re Mi, fuck you, Sola, whatever.
Yeah,
I
I'm giving
can't-
that the same score as
Are
fucking.
you, are you
Polish
saying that a doe can't be another form of deer that we could eat on Thanksgiving?
Not on my plate.
okay, all right. But what I will say is I can't, in good conscience, put this movie below Son-in-Law, despite the fact that Son-in-Law is actually related to
Oh.
Thanksgiving.
That's fun.
Oh, I
I'm not doing
hate
that.
every aspect of this.
So I am going to give it a D, but a higher D than Son-in-Law.
I am so hurt and also understanding. I hate all of you.
Where's it going?
Oh God! Well, I can't give it a Z, so it's, I
I
guess
mean, you
it's
can.
D minus.
All right, that'll.
All right, that's weird.
I'm giving it an F. Fuck Moses. This is bullshit.
Oh, that's
This movie is trash.
Moses, what was your grade?
I'm gonna put it at a D.
All right, so
I've never seen the movie.
all right.
You know what? A lot of things make sense now.
I love that the aggression is building in here. This is honestly, can we just take this in for a moment? This is just like Thanksgiving.
Yes.
That we're all
Yes.
friends and we're all having a good time.
having-
We all chose to be here. But the
My
anxiety
voice-
is building and everybody's getting angry.
My voice is cracking. We are having a proper Thanksgiving.
I feel pretty good.
So considering that you gave it an F, and Justin, I think you gave it a D minus.
D minus.
You gave it the highest grade.
I
Actually.
tried to get it above Son-in-Law, but those grades don't average out, so it's
No.
below Son-in-Law.
Yep.
Nice.
All right, last movie, possibly the most apt movie,
Uh-huh.
and possibly not.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Oh yes.
I got it. I gotta give it a B.
If I can interject real quick, just get this out. In the early days, did we do an episode on this?
Maybe.
I think we talked about it.
I think we talked about it in the last Thanksgiving episode.
Can we just before we get off on that tirade? Can we just describe what this film is?
I actually want to
describe it. You want me to do it?
I can't. It's a turkey who kills other campers.
It's a wisecracking turkey that just kills people.
He does crack
It is,
wise.
yeah. So it is a
forgot about
slasher
that.
film. It is a slasher film in which there's a very self-aware, conscious turkey that is tired of his
He's like a
people
Looney Tune.
being victimized essentially by people, and so he's taken it to himself. He or she, because we don't know that, has taken it to his or herself.
No, we do know that because he threatens the girl to give it to her, like, "Oh, I'll baste you," or so. He says something like that.
All right. What I meant to say about what I said earlier is like, so a lot of people will not know. There was an early iteration of what this podcast was.
Yeah.
Which has not gone to air.
Yeah, thank God.
But I think one of the movies
One of them was Thanksgiving.
was Thanksgiving on Moses' suggestion.
Yeah. He's obsessed.
And it was one of the darkest days of my life.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
you're not wrong.
I'm glad I could bring some sunshine to you.
The bottom line is that the turkey is a killer.
Yes.
It is a great slasher film. I use the word great
For slasher
ambiguous type of way.
You do it in a grating way.
Yeah, exactly. And it is if you heard those words and you were still interested, then you might love this film.
Yeah.
I don't know where I stand on it.
Honestly, it's the most Thanksgiving film on this list.
It's entirely 100% of this film is about Thanksgiving. It is called Thanksgiving, and it is entirely about a turkey. So I don't know what else to give it besides an A.
I got to give it an S+.
Wow.
I'm putting it above Planes, Trains.
I'm killing all of you.
I hate you.
that, yeah. Somebody give it a lower score.
I'm definitely.
What is our lowest parameter?
F.
F minus.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. And then I'll meet you half the way because I'm like, I kind of want to put it in the B category because it is a Thanksgiving movie, but it's not a good movie.
But it's the only one on this list.
Don't argue your point. I was trying to argue your
It's
point.
legitimately except for that National Lampoons thing.
You just keep digging, don't you?
But also at the same time, I don't want to put it above Addams Family Values or Rocky because those are infinitely better.
Well,
movies.
Rocky shouldn't be on this goddamn
But
list.
they're not. They're not Thanksgiving movies. So I'm going to give it a C, but a higher C than those goddamn movies.
It gave me emotional damage. Fuck you.
Emotional
F minus.
damage. Oh,
No, I got you
guy.
down for the
That
F
Asian guy.
minus.
All right. So with those, I think where we would put that is that would be B.
Yeah. God
With
damn it.
the average of our
That's
grades.
a high big.
It would be. I'm not moving it above Four Brothers.
You don't need.
movie-
No,
It's called-
it
doesn't
cannot
deserve
go
that.
above four. No, fuck all of you. Cannot go above.
It's a more Thanksgiving movie than Four Brothers.
Four Brothers is actually watchable though.
Yeah.
That's not what we're discussing here.
It is kind of.
None of you are leaving the studio alive tonight.
I hope to die.
All right.
So we were talking about the quintessential Thanksgiving movie.
Yeah, and explains trains and automobiles.
Yes.
Fuck you and your
Yeah.
grades.
Well, that's
You-
fair.
You terrorist.
That's fair. Actually, I have that up there.
So, before we depart, maybe we'll actually go through the grades
yeah.
and see if this is actually the tier list that we want. At S, top of the list. No one argued this. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
You
Yeah.
can't. You can't.
That's fair.
Undisputed
classic.
king.
Yeah.
And just to add into it, anybody who hasn't seen it,
You should.
It
Yeah, you
really
should watch
is a great film.
If everybody
Really.
watches football on Thanksgiving, but if the games suck, put on planes, trains, and
absolutely.
automobiles.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Or
it's
just put that
it's
on
such a
instead of
beautiful
football.
film. It really is, and it's like, and it's got all the things. Just to harp on it for another moment,
Yeah.
it's that it's like something that you can really enjoy, like with anybody. I think that it really
And
it
everybody
it
will come together
It
as
has
a family at the hearth of the
feeling
TV.
of Thanksgiving, not to harp too romantic about it, but it like really does give you like that warm feeling in your
Yeah.
heart. I think it's a great movie.
I could not agree more. It is truly has everything, the heart and soul of like family coming together, like
Yeah.
coming together.
Family, friends, whatever.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? It's a great movie.
I think at the end of the day, we all knew that was gonna.
No, of course.
What
It's
the
the
fuck
best.
else
It's
could?
the best movie.
You
It's
can't
obvious,
you
so.
can't do this without planes, trains, and
No,
automobiles.
Nah.
no.
All right, so our top A is The Oath.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Followed by Dutch. I still agree with this.
I go with Dutch.
No.
I go with Dutch. I get this. The
Look around
satire
America
of the
today and tell me which one's more accurate, baby.
I know the one that I grew up
you
with,
don't
and
follow
it's Dutch.
politics.
we were living in the Oath in about a
it
couple
might as
years
well be
ago.
the Purge.
Wink, wink, nudge,
it's the
nudge.
Purge with fucking Thanksgiving on it. Like, who cares?
Ugh.
It's boring.
I still fall in line with how they lie.
Yeah. How about you?
The Oath takes it for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's majority rules takes it, Moses. All right. So at the B
You're all
category,
fools.
I think Dutch also stays at A.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So B, we have Scent of a Woman first, then Four Brothers, and then Thanksgiving.
I hate this decision.
That's a tough one.
The first two you said actually made sense to me.
Yeah.
But no. Thanksgiving is always just going to be a fucking twisting my nuts. So
I love, I'll put it this way. I'll just give my internal monologue. Thanksgiving is the Thanksgiving movie, but am I going to actually watch it? The answer is no.
No.
yeah.
Might I put on Four Brothers?
Yeah.
And just
What was the other
get
one?
drunk?
Scent of a
And
Woman.
And like
Woman.
not think
Oh,
much
yeah,
about
that's
it.
kind of
That might be a thing. And Scent of a Woman, I don't know. I just don't. It doesn't grab me enough. I know that it's a great.
If
film,
it's Thanksgiving, I'm putting on Thanksgiving over Four Brothers and over Scent of a
but you
Woman.
know that Marky Mark is in it, right?
Yeah, I know. Did you know he's in Thanksgiving?
All right.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
getting
yeah.
into
So
the
not up
weeds.
with your diatribes here.
Right. We're quantifications. We set those rules and we move past
Yeah.
it.
So I think this is the proper order. Scent of a Woman is, I think, it's still related to Thanksgiving.
I think that's last, though.
No, I would have this first. Four Brothers is, I think, first of all, I like the quality of movie to have some weight in this discussion as well. So I would put Scent of a Woman, Four Brothers, and Thanksgiving.
My argument is
accept that.
between Four Brothers and Thanksgiving. I don't think Scent of a Woman.
What?
I don't think Scent of a Woman is a Thanksgiving movie at all.
Well, I don't even know if you've watched it.
I think we're well past that part of the conversation.
All right, Justin.
As it lies, Scent of a Woman, even though it's not deliberately as much as a fucking Thanksgiving horror movie. No, as it lies, Scent of a Woman, Thanksgiving last, and I'm sorry, what was the other one? Remind me.
Four Brothers.
Four
Four
Brothers.
Brothers in the middle there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Illogical.
And I think,
I didn't hate that movie. Like, I didn't hate that movie.
Four Brothers is not a good movie, but it's fun.
yeah,
It's a fun
movie.
movie.
Yeah.
It's loosely enough. Like if you threw it, if you just binge watched movies all day on Thanksgiving, yeah,
It's a quintessential quote unquote family.
Marky Mark is fun.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Yeah.
know what he's doing, but
He's
Yeah.
great in everything he does,
Yeah.
and he doesn't do
Easy.
anything great.
it's like Ben Affleck.
doesn't
He
do
just
anything
skates through
great.
life.
all right, and
Marky's better.
we're
than
we're too divided on Thanksgiving, so I won't even ask the question if we move
Yeah.
it down a tier.
Yeah.
All right, C tier, Adam's Family Values, then Rocky.
Adam's Family Values
Adams,
on top
yeah.
of that.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Adams.
yeah,
100%.
yeah, because it just
It has
There was-
more to do with it.
it was also like it had a longer, like you have to wait 50 minutes for it, but like at the same time, it was a longer presentation of
Well, and
Thanksgiving.
it's also like, and what I
Scene in
would say, like,
Rocky
I'm
is
saying
in a
that
good
even
scene.
though it is like a cutaway to like the summer play thing, that is of like a movie about family.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Adam's Family is quintessential to me with Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And
Halloween
Which is the same
close
as
to-
Thanksgiving.
As we said,
Well,
it's-
Halloween is closer to fucking Thanksgiving than what the fucking else we're talking about.
and as we said, it's a nice little bridge between Halloween
It
and
is.
Thanksgiving.
It is.
Maybe not something you watch on Thanksgiving,
No,
but maybe
no.
watch it around the time that it came
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
November 19th.
Exactly.
All right. And C, I think, is fair for both. All right. Let's move down to D,
Yeah.
which is Son-in-Law, starring Pauly Shore. And The Sound of Music. While I despise this order, I
Wow.
can't
Oh.
argue against it because Son-in-Law actually had something to do with Thanksgiving.
It pains me to because I fucking hate that era of Pauly Shore movies.
Yeah.
But like at
What,
least there's
all
a
of them?
Thanksgiving
There was
connection.
one era of Pauly Shore. Like he didn't do anything new.
I'm just gonna go with Son-in-Law just because I hate this question.
Yeah.
I hate this, and I just
And
want it to
then-
be over.
And then I don't care what any of you have to say. F. Fucking National Lampoon's
Yeah.
Holiday
Yeah.
Reunion
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
a fucking god awful
Yeah.
movie. Put it on for torture or if you hate your family and kids.
We should all watch it together.
Once we get video.
Yeah.
You can see me tying the noose.
We all have.
Well, that's what we'll do. We'll take all of the things that Dan could
couch.
use for suicide out of the room first, and we'll just have like bottles,
Yeah.
just like set up in front of all of us in a series of shot glasses. And you just do what you need to do, Dan.
All right. So if you enjoyed this tier list episode, then make sure that you subscribe to the Loud and Drunk podcast. You can leave us a 5-star review. You can check us out on YouTube and Rumble. Make sure that you like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our content. You can follow us on social media. We are at Loud and Drunk on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you want to see more of these tier lists, then maybe we'll start dropping them on Patreon, and you can become a supporter at patreon.com/loudanddrunk. And also, home base, loudanddrunk.com. You can catch up on the podcast there. And you can give Moses shit for giving Thanks Killing him S+.
Suggest some shit, bitches.
Also the merch.
Yeah.
Check out the merch.
Check it out. It's actually like
It's pretty.
it's fucking quality.
Yeah.
That is
Maybe Christmas coming up.
Yep.
Buy some glassware for a family member that likes to have a drink and get loud and drunk.
Yeah.
Mm.
All right. So for Justin, Moses, and what was your name?
Amerigo
Vespucci.
America.
Yeah.
Whatever. For you, I'm Dan. And until next time, whatever. Gobble, gobble, bitches.